You have to plus verb. You have to be polite. You have to be honest. You have to be patient. You have to be humble. You have to be reliable. You have to be positive. You have to be creative. You have to be resilient. You have to be focused. You have to be forgiving. You have to be punctual. You have to save money. You have to be assertive. You have to be confident. You have to be proactive. You have to be optimistic. You have to do your best. You have to be adaptable. You have to be organized. You have to be self-aware. You have to be supportive. You have to be dedicated. You have to be disciplined. You have to try new things. You have to be empathetic. You have to be resourceful. You have to do your chores. You have to follow the rules. You have to clean your room. You have to be a good friend. You have to be self-confident. You have to be open-minded. You have to be self-reflective. You have to be kind to others. You have to be kind to others. You have to be a team player. You have to be self-motivated. You have to share with others. You have to exercise regularly. You have to be a good listener. You have to be self-disciplined. You have to follow instructions. You have to use your manners. You have to ask for permission. You have to be kind to yourself. You have to be a lifelong learner. You have to keep your promises. You have to eat your vegetables. You have to be attentive in class. You have to drink plenty of water. You have to listen to your parents. You have to be open to feedback. You have to be on time for school. You have to study for your exams. You have to be a good role model. You have to be open to new ideas. You have to be patient with others. You have to finish your homework. You have to take care of your pets. You have to clean up after yourself. You have to be patient with yourself. You have to be honest with yourself. You have to be a good time manager. You have to be respectful of diversity. You have to be aware of your biases. You have to be mindful of your words. You have to be a good communicator. You have to wear a seatbelt in the car. You have to be mindful of your health. You have to be a good problem solver. You have to be responsible with money. You have to be aware of your privileges. You have to be respectful to your elders. You have to be respectful of others' time. You have to brush your teeth before bed. You have to say please and thank you. You have to take care of the environment. You have to be organized with your tasks. You have to be grateful for what you have. You have to be supportive of others' goals. You have to be punctual for appointments. You have to be honest with your feedback. You have to be honest with your emotions. You have to be careful crossing the street. You have to persevere through challenges. You have to be respectful to your teachers. You have to be honest with your intentions. You have to be honest with your limitations. You have to be mindful of your screen time. You have to be respectful of others' privacy. You have to be accountable for your actions. You have to be mindful of your body's limits. You have to be responsible with your words. You have to be considerate of others' needs. You have to be honest with your boundaries. You have to be mindful of your eating habits. You have to be supportive of others' dreams. You have to be proactive in managing stress. You have to be aware of your cultural biases. You have to be mindful of your body's needs. You have to be respectful of others' opinions. You have to be respectful of others' property. You have to be open to constructive criticism. You have to be mindful of your energy levels. You have to wear a helmet when riding a bike. You have to be open to different perspectives. You have to be respectful of different cultures. You have to be considerate of others' feelings. You have to be respectful of different opinions. You have to be proactive in resolving conflicts. You have to be proactive in seeking feedback. You have to be mindful of your body's signals. You have to be accountable for your mistakes. You have to be responsible with your finances. You have to be honest with your self-reflection. You have to be accountable for your decisions. You have to be patient with learning new skills. You have to be supportive of others' decisions. You have to be mindful of your sleep schedule. You have to be compassionate towards others. You have to take responsibility for your actions. You have to be responsible for your belongings. You have to be respectful of others' boundaries. You have to be supportive of others' well-being. You have to be responsible with your emotions. You have to be aware of your impact on wildlife. You have to be responsible with online behavior. You have to be responsible with online behavior. You have to be a good listener in conversations. You have to be supportive of others' aspirations. You have to be honest with your self-expression. You have to be proactive in managing your time. You have to be honest with your self-care needs. You have to apologize when you make a mistake. You have to be responsible for your own learning. You have to be responsible for your own success. You have to be proactive in seeking opportunities. You have to be mindful of your emotional triggers. You have to be responsible with social media use. You have to be willing to learn from your mistakes. You have to be proactive in nurturing relationships. You have to be respectful of others' career choices. You have to be responsible for your own happiness. You have to be respectful of others' personal goals. You have to be self-disciplined with technology use. You have to be responsible for your own happiness. You have to be respectful of others' personal space. You have to be respectful of others' religious beliefs. You have to be respectful of others' family dynamics. You have to be mindful of your environmental impact. You have to be proactive in seeking personal growth. You have to be accountable for your personal growth. You have to be proactive in seeking work-life balance. You have to be careful with your personal information. You have to be respectful of others' cultural practices. You have to be mindful of your social media presence. You have to be patient with others' learning processes. You have to be responsible with your online presence. You have to be respectful of others' academic pursuits. You have to be responsible with your use of resources. You have to be respectful of others' time commitments. You have to be responsible with your personal hygiene. You have to be willing to step out of your comfort zone. You have to be mindful of your environmental footprint. You have to be proactive in seeking help when needed. You have to be proactive in setting and achieving goals. You have to be responsible with your social interactions. You have to be understanding towards others' anxieties. You have to be understanding towards others' struggles. You have to be respectful of others' physical boundaries. You have to be respectful of others' educational choices. You have to be supportive of others' creative endeavors. You have to be honest with your intentions in friendships. You have to be considerate of others' dietary restrictions. You have to be respectful of others' personal boundaries. You have to say sorry when you hurt someone's feelings. You have to be aware of your strengths and weaknesses. You have to be aware of your impact on the environment. You have to be proactive in building healthy relationships. You have to be respectful of others' personal preferences. You have to be supportive of others' emotional well-being. You have to be understanding towards others' insecurities. You have to be responsible with your social engagements. You have to be proactive in maintaining a healthy lifestyle. You have to be respectful of others' communication styles. You have to be responsible with your personal belongings. You have to be supportive of others' hobbies and interests. You have to be honest with your intentions in relationships. You have to be supportive of others' career advancements. You have to be proactive in maintaining work relationships. You have to be accountable for your personal development. You have to be considerate of others' personal experiences. You have to be understanding towards others' perspectives. You have to be supportive of others' community involvement. You have to be proactive in taking care of your mental health. You have to be understanding towards others' cultural traditions. You have to be understanding towards others' personal struggles. You have to be considerate of others' communication preferences. You have to be understanding towards others' cultural differences.